Marcus stepped back from the cockpit, heart pounding in his throat. The early morning wind whipped across the rooftop, carrying the metallic scent of aviation fuel. The Sikorsky S-76 sat there like a sleeping predator, silent, polished, deadly. He took one last look inside. The folded paper rested against the leather seat, the ink still drying from his sleepless night. A lifeline disguised as a warning. A confession disguised as a manual. A chance if she chose to take it. He closed the cabin door gently, letting the latch click. Then a voice behind him, low, cold, familiar. "You don't belong up here." Marcus didn't turn at first. He didn't have to. He recognized the rasp, the exhausted tremble under the words. David Sterling stood 5 feet away, a phone still in his hand, tie crooked, eyes bloodshot from a weekend of panic. David's voice sharpened. "You were in Robert's office, and you touched the helicopter, not a question. A verdict." Marcus's jaw tightened, but his tone stayed steady. "I was doing my job." "No." David stepped closer. "You were doing something else." For a moment, the rooftop went silent except for the wind humming across the rotors. "I don't want to hurt you, Marcus," David whispered. "I really don't. But you're moving pieces you don't understand." Marcus's eyes flicked toward the roof access door behind David. "If someone came up, now security. Victoria, anyone, it would be over." "You sabotaged the hydraulics," Marcus said quietly. David flinched like he'd been slapped. "You replaced 5,606 with a crystallizing compound," Marcus continued. "You killed Robert, and you're about to kill his daughter." David's shoulders sagged. Not with guilt, but with a grief so deep it was almost hollow. "I didn't kill Robert." His voice broke. "I just didn't stop it. I owed money. They had photos of my daughter's school. They told me the Blackwood line had to end." Marcus's voice lowered. "Why Victoria?" David swallowed. "Because she's the last obstacle. When she's gone, the company gets divided. They move in. Skytech's military contracts, they want them. Every last one." Wind swept across the roof, cold, sharp, carrying the weight of a truth both men wished they didn't know. "You can still stop this," Marcus said. David let out a shattered laugh. "I can't. It's too late. Do you know what they'll do to my family if I fail? My daughter is 8. His voice fractured. "My little girl still sleeps with a nightlight. I can't let her die because I made bad bets." Marcus stepped forward. "David, Victoria doesn't have to die." David's breath hitched. "What are you talking about?" "I changed the compound." Marcus kept his voice low, controlled. "It won't fail at 10,000 feet anymore. It'll fail at 3,000, low enough for an emergency auto-rotation landing." David stared at him. Confusion. Fear. A flicker of hope, then realization, sharp and devastating. "You're planning to save her." Marcus nodded once. David stepped back like he'd been stabbed. "Save her? After what she did to you? After she humiliated you publicly twice?" Marcus didn't answer. Because he didn't need to. He didn't save people because they deserved it. He saved them because he couldn't live with himself if he didn't. David shook his head slowly. "If she lives, they'll know it was sabotage. They'll kill me. Kill my daughter." "Marcus, you have to understand footsteps. Fast, sharp, approaching." The rooftop access door burst open. Victoria stepped out, now in a fresh black flight suit. Hair pulled tight, sunglasses on despite the gray sky. Her voice sliced through the tension. "Why is he up here?" She jabbed a finger toward Marcus. David froze. Marcus said nothing. "Are you two conspiring to scratch my helicopter?" Her tone was mocking, bored, oblivious to how close she stood to death. She marched toward the Sikorsky. "Let's get this done. Boston, contracts, legacy." Then she stopped. Froze. Because the emergency checklist Marcus left in the cockpit caught her eye. Her brows knit. She picked up the paper, scanning the handwritten lines. Recognition flashed in her face. Confusion. Then unease. Slowly, she looked up at Marcus. "What is this?" Marcus opened his mouth, but David spoke first, voice trembling, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Just a joke. A harmless joke." Marcus thinks he's funny. Victoria's gaze hardened. "Explain, now." Marcus inhaled. Then, a gunshot cracked through the morning air. Marcus dropped behind the landing skids automatically. David stumbled, screaming, clutching his arm. Victoria froze in shock. Another bullet pinged off the metal rail. Marcus's survival instincts roared to life. "Down!" he yelled, grabbing Victoria's arm and yanking her behind the helicopter. She resisted. "Let go of me." Another round tore through the air, silencing her instantly. Marcus dragged her fully into cover. David crawled bleeding toward the stairwell. A third shot chipped concrete inches from his head. Victoria's voice was a shaking whisper now. Who's shooting at us?" Marcus looked her dead in the eyes. "The same people who killed your father." Victoria trembled, face pale. "What do they want?" Marcus checked the edge of the landing pad, mapping trajectories, calculating angles, listening for movement. He answered without emotion. The rooftop door slammed shut behind a figure in a black coat. Boots echoed up the stairs. Calm, deliberate, professional. Not a warning shot, not intimidation. An execution. Marcus stepped in front of Victoria. "Stay behind me. Don't move." Victoria's voice cracked. "Marcus, what are you?" He didn't answer, but in his eyes, she saw the truth. He wasn't a janitor. Not really, he was something else. Something trained, something dangerous. Something she never should have mocked. The footsteps grew louder, and the rooftop filled with the cold, merciless quiet that comes seconds before violence. The footsteps grew heavier, measured, unhurried. The pace of someone who knew the outcome already. Someone trained. Someone hired to finish a job. Marcus stepped forward, his body blocking Victoria completely. His eyes narrowed, tracking every echo, every vibration, every breath of wind bouncing off the concrete walls of the rooftop exit. Victoria clutched his sleeve without meaning to. Her voice came out tight, strangled. "Marcus, what's happening? Who is that?" He didn't look back. Didn't blink. That's the person they send when they're done pretending. The rooftop door creaked, a faint metallic clank, like a weapon brushing against a railing. Then silence. Victoria whispered, "Is this about the Airbus deal?" "About my father's." Marcus cut her off sharply. "This is bigger than your company. Bigger than your father. Don't move." The door eased open. A man stepped into the gray morning light. Black tactical jacket, clean black boots, a suppressed rifle held loosely at his side like an extension of his own arm. His eyes were empty, cold, professional, exactly like the men Marcus used to serve with. And sometimes, and worst of all against, the assassin scanned the rooftop, saw this smear of David's blood, saw Marcus's cleaning cart pushed aside, saw the Sikorsky gleaming. Then his gaze landed on Marcus. Recognition flickered. Barely perceptible. Thompson. The name came out low, slow, calculated. Victoria jerked her head toward Marcus, stunned. "You two know each other?" Marcus didn't answer. The assassin tilted his head, almost amused. "You're supposed to be in early retirement. Or was it medical discharge after Fallujah?" Victoria's breath caught. Fallujah, the part of Marcus's history no one had ever spoken aloud. Marcus didn't react. His voice was steady, cold, controlled. "You don't have to do this. Walk away." The assassin's laugh was soft, cruel. "Marcus, you know how this works. Nobody walks away." His rifle slid up, smooth as silk. Aim locked, breath held. Victoria gasped. Marcus moved before the shot fired. He grabbed Victoria around the waist, dragging her behind the engine block of the helicopter. As the suppressed bullet sliced the air where her head had been, concrete dust exploded. The rotor mast pinged with impact. Alarms blared from inside the cockpit. Victoria's scream choked in her throat. "They're trying to kill me," she whispered, shaking violently. "He's trying to kill me." Marcus pressed her lower. Quiet. Another shot cracked, smashing into the tail boom. The assassin was advancing now, steps calm, confident. "Marcus," he called out, "let her go. You're not on the wrong side yet. Walk away now. And I'll say you weren't involved." Marcus peered around the helicopter body, calculating angles, distance, cover. He spotted a loose tie-down cable, a fire extinguisher, a toolbox. Not much, but enough for someone like him. "Marcus," the assassin barked. "This isn't personal." Marcus stood not fully, just high enough for his voice to carry. "It is now." He grabbed Victoria's wrist. "We're moving." She shook her head fast, panicked. I can't run." "You don't run," Marcus said. "You follow." She swallowed hard, nodded. Marcus listened, the rhythm of footsteps, the angle of approach, the assassin's breathing pattern. 3 seconds, that's all he needed. He looked at Victoria. "When I say move, you move. Don't stop. Don't look back." Her eyes filled with tears. She didn't have time to wipe away. "Marcus, why are you helping me?" He didn't answer. He didn't have to. He'd made his choice the moment he saw the doctored maintenance logs. The moment he realized the same people who killed Robert Blackwood were back to finish the job. Marcus clenched his jaw. The assassin rounded the corner of the helicopter. Marcus whispered, "Move." Victoria sprinted low across the tarmac, not graceful, not fast, but alive. The assassin fired. Marcus grabbed the fire extinguisher and hurled it like a grenade. It crashed into the rifle's barrel mid-shot, knocking the aim off just enough for the bullet to miss Victoria by inches. The assassin cursed under his breath, but Marcus was already on him. He slammed into the man with the force of a wrecking ball. The rifle skittered across the concrete. The two men crashed into the safety railing, fists flying. The assassin fought like a machine. Efficient, brutal, precise. But Marcus fought like a man who'd already died once. He landed a blow. Another. A third. The assassin's head snapped back, but he was fast, too fast. He slipped his hand to his belt and drew a combat knife. Victoria screamed, "Marcus!" The blade sliced toward Marcus's ribs. Marcus twisted, barely grabbing the assassin's wrist mid-strike, their faces inches apart, breaths sharp, eyes locked. "You should have stayed retired," the assassin hissed. Marcus growled, "You first." He slammed the man's hand against the railing once, twice, until the knife clattered to the ground. But the assassin wasn't done. He grabbed Marcus by the throat, lifting him with terrifying strength. Marcus's vision blurred. He clawed for air, for leverage, for anything. Then a deafening sound cut through the rooftop. Whump, whump, whump. The helicopter's engines spooling up. Victoria, pale, shaking, terrified, was inside the cockpit, turning the aircraft on. Marcus's eyes widened. No Victoria, but she couldn't hear him. Couldn't see the assassin behind Marcus. Couldn't know she was starting a machine poised for sabotage. The assassin looked over his shoulder at the spinning rotors and smiled. Perfect. Saves me cleanup. He tightened his grip around Marcus's throat, and the helicopter's blades roared to full speed. Victoria, unaware that every second she kept those engines running, brought her closer to the moment the hydraulic would crystallize, and the machine would become a falling coffin. The room felt different the moment our eyes met again, so still, so charged. as if the air itself was holding its breath for us. I could feel every unspoken word trembling between us, every unsent message, every thought we had both swallowed for far too long. And when I finally found the courage to speak, my voice wasn't steady, it was honest. Do you know, I whispered, I've spent so many nights trying to convince myself that what I feel for you is just a passing moment, something small, something I could bury. But the truth is, every time I look at you, something inside me shifts. Something wakes up. You didn't move. You just stood there, listening so intently that it made my chest tighten. I tried to ignore it. I continued. The way my heart speeds up when you walk into the room, the way your presence fills every quiet space in my life, the way your voice can pull me back from the edge of the worst days. I kept telling myself, it was nothing, but it wasn't nothing. It was you. A soft breath escaped you just enough to tell me you heard every syllable. And maybe I shouldn't say this. I whispered, my voice shaking with everything I'd held back. But the truth is, you've become the place I return to. Even when I pretend I'm walking away, you've become the calm after the storm, and the storm itself. I feel you in moments you don't even know I'm watching. I feel you in the silence, in the warmth, in the ache of wanting something I was too afraid to name. I stepped closer, slowly, carefully, like I was approaching something fragile and precious. I don't want to run anymore, I said. Not from you. Not from this. Not from whatever fate has been trying to push between us. I don't want half moments or almost or quiet pretending. I want you, fully, bravely, honestly. Your eyes softened, brightened, and broke a little all at once, like someone who'd been waiting for these words longer than they would ever admit. And if this feels too much, if this feels too heavy, I added gently, tell me, because loving you, feeling you this deeply terrifies me. But losing the chance to tell you would terrify me more. Silence fell again, but it wasn't empty. It was full of breath, full of longing, full of the kind of feeling that rewrites a life from the inside out. Your silence wasn't cold. It was trembling, alive, almost trembling with everything you were fighting to hold back. And for a moment, I thought maybe I had said too much. Maybe I had pushed too far past the lines we drew, the boundaries we pretended would protect us. But then you exhaled, slow, shaky, vulnerable. And that one breath told me more truth than any sentence ever could. I need you to understand something, I said softly, stepping just close enough for your warmth to reach me, but still leaving space, still giving you the choice. I never planned for this. I never meant for my heart to memorize you the way it has, the way it responds to your presence before I even realize you're near. My voice cracked, and I didn't hide it. You became a part of me without permission. I tried to stop it. I tried to stay distant, stay strong, stay untouched. But every time I thought I had control, I'd see you smile, or hear you laugh, or watch you look at someone with that soft patience of yours. And something inside me would fall a little deeper, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, steadily, like gravity. You swallowed hard, and your fingers curled at your sides, like you were trying to anchor yourself. I want you to know, I continued, that this isn't infatuation. It's not a momentary rush or a passing spark. It's the way you show up, the way you care without making a show of it, the way you listen like every word matters, the way you see me, even when I'm trying to hide. I inhaled deeply, letting every emotion rise and settle before I said the next part. You make me braver than I knew I could be, and that scares me. Because every time I'm near you, I feel myself wanting more. More time, more moments, more of the way you look at me when you think I'm not paying attention. More of the softness you try so hard to hide. Your eyes trembled, and in them, I saw everything you were too afraid to speak. And I'm not asking for an answer right now. I whispered, My voice dropping into something raw, something bare. I'm just asking you to feel what you feel. Don't run from it. Don't bury it like we both have been doing. If there's even a small part of you that wants us, then let it breathe. Let it exist. Let it matter. I took one small step closer, close enough for your breath to brush my skin, because every moment with you feels like standing on the edge of something extraordinary, something terrifying, yes, but something real. And I don't want to walk away from that. Not tonight. Not anymore. Your lips parted slightly, just enough to tell me you were right on the verge of breaking open, right on the edge of the truth you'd been drowning in. And then, in the softest voice I'd ever heard from you, barely louder than a heartbeat, you whispered, "Don't walk away." Those 3 words, "don't walk away," did something to me. They cut through every wall I had built, every fear I had rehearsed, every excuse I had clung to just to keep myself from falling deeper into you. And for a moment, everything inside me went still. "I'm not walking away," I whispered, my voice trembling with relief I didn't even realize I'd been holding in. "Not unless you push me. Not unless you tell me there's nothing here." I took a breath, slow and unsteady, like someone stepping into a truth they'd been terrified to touch. "But if you're asking me to stay," I shook my head softly, eyes locked on yours, "then I'm here. I'm right here." You looked down for a moment, as if gathering your courage from the floor, from the air, from the silence itself. When you lifted your gaze again, there was something different, something raw, something unguarded, something you'd never shown me quite so openly. "You have no idea," you murmured, your voice thick, tired, honest, "how long I've been trying to stop myself from saying those words." I felt something deep inside me crumble, something old, something weary, something that had spent too long pretending it didn't care. "Then why didn't you?" I asked gently, not accusing, not demanding, just wanting to understand the storm behind your eyes. "Because," you said, your chest rising with a shaky breath, "loving someone, wanting someone, needing someone, those things make you vulnerable. They make you visible. And I've spent so long trying to be strong, trying not to need anyone, trying not to let my heart get ahead of me." I stepped closer, a small step, but one that closed a distance we had been afraid of for far too long. "And did it work?" I whispered. You laughed softly, a broken sound that held more confession than humor. "No, not even a little. Every day, every night, I felt you. Even when I tried to stay away, even when I convinced myself it was better to let it die quietly." My breath caught. "You never let it die," I said. "You just buried it." And I did the same. Your eyes shimmered not with tears, but with the weight of everything you had finally stopped holding back. "I don't want to bury anything anymore," you admitted. "Not with you." The room seemed to shift around, less light, softer, air warmer, the world narrowing to just the space between your heartbeat and mine. "So what do you want?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper, not because I was afraid of the answer, but because I already knew. I just needed to hear it. You swallowed hard, your voice trembling through the quiet. "I want you," you said, "not the version of you I pretended I didn't feel. Not the version I kept at a distance. I want the real you, the one who makes my chest hurt when you leave. The one I look for in every room. The one who makes everything feel alive." My breath shook. "And you can have me," I whispered back soft, certain, full of every truth I'd been carrying. "You always could. All you had to do was say it." You exhaled long, shaky, full of release, and for the first time there was no fear in your eyes. Just clarity, just want, just the beginning of something neither of us could stop now, even if we tried. "Then stay," you murmured. "Tonight stay." The world paused. And I did. I stayed.